Do you have specials for our listeners? I think you do, right?
We do. We have two specials because obviously what we say sounds too good to be true. So we're willing to put our money where our mouth is. If you're local, come into our Burnsville clinic. We will give you an evaluation at no cost. We'll give you a treatment at no cost. And we'll demonstrate to you that where you think the problem is only where the symptoms ended up. And we'll show you that we can help you immediately. If you live outside of the Twin City area, no matter where you're at in the United States or the world, for that matter, listening on the Internet, we'll send you a $15,000 piece of medical equipment, no cost. We'll send you a webcam, no cost. Wrap up 1 hour of my therapist time at $300 an hour, no cost. In the privacy of your own home, we'll give you an evaluation, we'll treat you, we'll demonstrate that we can help you, so you don't have to guess if we can help you or not. You'll know after that first treatment. You can't move, and all of a sudden you can move. My guess is you're going to probably go into our treatment program.
I had a highly respected physical therapist tell me in my golfer's elbow, common, probably going to be 6 to 18 months of rehab.
Yeah,
before your elbow is good again. I think it was in about 4 or 5, maybe 6 weeks. You had it. That was it. 4, 5, 6 weeks. It was gone.
Yeah, well, we had you swinging a golf club, if you remember, in 2.5 weeks.
Well, 2.5 weeks. I was swinging a golf club again, but I mean, absolutely. No more pain.
Right.
6 weeks.
No question.
And they told me 18 months.
Yeah, there's 5 guys on the PGA Tour right now that have exactly the same thing you are, fighting it with drugs. Every single time they play, they shoot up a cortisone just to hide the problem. That's how prevalent what you had is.
ARP Wave Clinic, all one word, .com, or you can call 952-431-9708. Our next segment, we're going to have a special guest. He will be recognizable to most of our listeners. He's Tim Thomas, goaltender for the Boston Bruins. He was also a goaltender with the United States Olympic Hockey Team. We'll get his story about the ARP Wave system when we come back. This is the House of Pain here on The Fan.
If you're listening right now and you think ARP Wave technology is a gimmick or a fad, you're wrong. It truly works. Athletes, individuals, people throughout the country have been using this local product for years now, and it helps them. Faster than any other form of treatment, it's also very safe and very cost-effective. So quit spending hours every day or week and wasting your money at the clinic or the rehab facility. Fix your problem with ARP Wave technology. They can help you. You can trust them. ARP Wave can re-educate your muscles to work just like they used to back when everything felt so good. Get rid of muscle spasms, increase your blood circulation, and keep a flexible range of motion throughout your entire body. Give the ARP Wave Clinic in Apple Valley a call. Do it right now. Their number is 952-431-9708. That's 952-431-9708. We know countless people that they've helped with this product, and they can help you too. Visit them in Apple Valley at the ARP Wave Clinic or on their website, arpwave.com. That's arpwave.com.
Joining us now on the House of Pain is Tim Thomas. He's a goaltender for the Boston Bruins and was one of the goaltenders for the United States Olympic Hockey Team. Tim, thanks for joining us on the show today. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, doing very well. Say hi to Dennis.
Tim, good talking to you again, man.
Yeah, good to hear from you.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us first how you became acquainted with Dennis and the ARP Wave system? How did that all take place?
I went to the U.S. Olympic Hockey Team had a pre-camp in August last summer, and that's where I saw people using it.
That's where you saw him?
I don't know if you want me to use the names.
Oh, yeah, you can use the names. Was Zach was there?
They were using them, and I started to ask them about it, and they loved it, and they were having good results with it. And I at that time, I'd had a lingering hamstring issue that I basically had for the whole summer that I wasn't able to quite shake. So that's when I contacted Dennis the first time to see if he could help, and that's how we started with the ARP machine. He helped me with a hamstring right away, and then throughout the season helped keep me in playing form so that I could finish the season, and now he's helping me recover from a hip surgery.
Now let me ask you about the hamstring thing. You have a lingering hamstring issue, and then Dennis uses a protocol with you with the ARP Wave. Was it instantaneously fixed for you?
Pretty close. See, in my case, I don't know. I mean, in my case, I'd say it was probably 80% healed from where it was. So it was healed, but it just got stuck at that 80%, and he was able to bump me over that, over that threshold. And so I don't know if I'd say instantaneous in my case, but 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. And you know, Tim, I think the amazing thing that when we first started working together is, you know, I told you, well, yeah, that's where the pain's at, but let's go find out where the problem's coming from. And remember when we were searching around and we found it and you said, nah, that can't, you know, what's going on here? So we're working on not your hamstring, but we're working on another part of your body, and all of a sudden you started getting range of motion that we hadn't had for a while.
Exactly what happened.
Now, well, Dennis, what did you actually do then to do the hamstring? How did you find out it was another part of his body?
Well, typically, as you know, our whole philosophy is that wherever there's pain, that's where the problem ended, not where it came from. So we just did a technique that Tim is now very, very efficient at called search and destroy. And we look for the spot that bothers him the most. And once we find that spot, we could treat a hamstring and an ankle if that's where the spot is. So
now,
it doesn't make any difference.
Now, did you tell me before we started the interview something with his labrum as well?
Yeah, he just had to have surgery. And Tim, I think the listeners would love to hear what the doctor said, because it's a tribute to you for all the work that I put you through. But, I'll let you tell the story about what the doctor said was wrong, and that most people, there's no way in the world they'd play, certainly in the Olympics.
Yeah. Well, when I finally had the surgery at the end of the year, at one point right after the Olympics, actually I'll start there. At one point after the Olympics, I basically did the splits playing goaltender, and I felt like I did something extra to my hip right away. And I ended up playing 4 games in 6 days. After the 4th game, I was really, really hurting. All the muscles had basically shut down around the hip, which is what happens when you have injuries. And I'd lost all speed. I'd lost range of motion. I basically wasn't able to do my job at that point. And got in touch with Dennis. And with the ARP Wave machine, was able to strengthen that hip immensely. But I think I'd say by the end of the season that my hip was as strong as it's ever been, and my speed had returned. I had speed that I hadn't had in a long time, and it was actually really good. It didn't. In my case, my hip had a torn labrum, plus a couple of bone chips floating around in there, and even without getting that repaired, I was functioning at a very, very high level at the end of the season, and it basically was the reason that I was able to make it through the season. But from there, I'll go to the story of the surgery. I had the surgery done in New York City by one of the top, arguably the top hip surgeon in the world. And when going into surgery, we really didn't know what was going on in there. We knew I'd finished the season and I was in some pain, so he pretty much knew there was something that he needed to repair, but he had no idea what would be in there. Basically, after the surgery, when he came in after the surgery, he was very happy with the way that the surgery turned out. He was very, very positive with how the hip's going to be going. He was absolutely amazed at what he found in there. I mean, I had a huge labrum tear. They put in 4 anchors, where normally they only put in 2, and the most they'd ever put in before was 5. And they found 2 bone chips the size of nickels floating around in there, which in and of themselves would cause quite a problem. The first thing he said to me after he got through with his positive prognosis is, and it wasn't just him, he actually had another guy that was helping him out with the surgery from Oklahoma who was visiting him from out of town. So they were both in there looking around and working. But the first thing they said was like, "We have no idea how you played." And and the first thing I told them was that the ARP Wave machine, it's true. Not only did it help me make it through the season, but it actually allowed me to get into a position with an injury where I was performing at as high a level as I could, almost without the injury. Now I'm glad that the hip's fixed for the future.
For sure.
But the ARP Wave allowed me to finish and make it through this season, and now on to recovery from the surgery. And Dennis is also helping me with the ARP machine to recover from the surgery.